Super Bowl 51 is in H-Town. Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons will face Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. This may be Ryan's first Super Bowl appearance, but Dan Quinn will be coaching in 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, while Brady and Belichick have been in 2 of the last 4. Ryan Clark in the house.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
How we doing? Sorry your boys didn't
Looking
get it
sharp
done.
as always.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, it's just tough to go there and win, though. So,
Of course.
you live with it.
Of course, we've seen the track record. Max, want to start with you
Yeah.
here. Who's the most feared player, or who should be the most feared player on Super Bowl Sunday?
Feared is the operative word. And so I am not going to say Tom Brady, who is the best player in the game.
Okay.
Tom Brady doesn't make mistakes. He has a strong, accurate arm, et cetera, et cetera. I'll leave that to whoever wants to argue for Tom Brady.
Go ahead.
But the most feared is Julio Jones, for a lot of the reasons, Stephen A., that you brought up earlier. The most feared is Julio Jones because you could do everything right to Julio Jones. He is the one player on the field, both sides of the ball, either team, who you can do every single thing right to stop him, and you still may not be able to. And if this is a tight game, because you look at that Patriots defense against the run, et cetera, and you look at special teams, every phase of the game, Belichick's going to be better prepared than the other side. He's the better coach, et cetera. Everyone's going to ball. We know that. The way the Falcons are playing, though, it should be a close contest. And when you have a home run hitter and a difference maker like Julio Jones, where it can all be right for you and he can make it come out wrong for you, that's the guy you have to fear the most on the field, either side.
Let me tell you why I disagree with you. I'm going to go with Tom Brady with this one. Here's why. It's not just because of the greatness of Tom Brady. It's because of the youth in Atlanta's secondary and the moment itself. Now, we can sit up there and we can look at athleticism, we can look at physicality, we can look at the way that they perform, we can look at all these different things. But you would know this better than me. The Super Bowl is a different stage. It's the ultimate stage. And sometimes, those dudes whose eyes get a little bit bright and wide and what have you, putting Max Kellerman to shame, okay? I mean, when you got those eyes, you understand what I'm trying to say? It's like, whoa, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. This stage might be too big. Not saying that that's you. I'm just talking about your eyes right there.
I'm just saying, you might be in love with me or something.
I'm just saying, people but the point is, here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. But I look at that. And here's the point that I want to bring up about Atlanta. Everybody's been raving about how they've been since the bye week. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from Atlanta. I think they got a real legitimate shot of winning the Super Bowl. But I got to look at this, y'all. They won the game. They ended the season winning 4 straight and 5 of their last 6. They beat Arizona after the bye week. We know what's been going on with Arizona. They were haphazard this year. They lost that game to Kansas City. Then they come back with 4 straight. Rams, 49ers, Panthers. Now, they beat New Orleans too. They gave up 32 to New Orleans, okay? They won 38-32. And then in the divisional, they beat Seattle. We all know that their offense ain't the same, and they've been a bit haphazard this year. And yesterday, they went up against Aaron Rodgers with a bunch of receivers that couldn't catch the ball, okay? So let's pump the brakes just a little bit, put stuff in its proper perspective, and rationalize that even though Atlanta has looked very impressive, defensively, they clearly improved from what they were earlier on in the season. We got to take into consideration the level of competition and acknowledge that ain't who you going up against in 2 weeks.
Right.
That's going to be tough. This is a different animal that you're going up against. I'm talking about the collection of
So far,
efficiency.
they've been up against brand
That's what I'm
names,
saying.
but the brand names haven't, Seattle was compromised because of injury, et cetera. Same thing
Well,
with Green Bay.
in saying that, to me, you can't say Tom Brady and talk about the quarterbacks they faced and skip over Aaron Rodgers. Right? And Aaron Rodgers played well yesterday. He's not the reason the Green Bay Packers are home today. But when you prepare against an Aaron Rodgers, it's a team sport. Right? And so what was it that the Atlanta Falcons did against Aaron Rodgers? They made stops, but they scored, and they scored constantly, and they put pressure on the offense. And a huge reason why the Atlanta Falcons score, and obviously Julio Jones, we understand what he can do physically, the ways you have to stop him. But what does Bill Belichick do? The thing you do well, he takes that away. The person that you do, quote unquote, fear, he takes that away. We saw that with Antonio Brown yesterday. Obviously, Tom Brady, he's a household name, not only household in the regular season. This ain't Peyton Manning type guy. This is, I show up when it's supposed to happen. Those are obvious. For me, it's a guy named Tevin Freeman. I made it up because it's both of them.
Yeah.
The running
it's the
back.
position.
Tevin
right?
Coleman and
It's Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman, because these guys throughout the season, 2,500 total yards, 24 touchdowns. In the divisional game, they had half of the 400 yards. They had 200 total together. Obviously, you're going to go out and plan to stop Julio Jones. You're going to put things together in the secondary to stop Mohamed Sanu, Gabriel, these guys, Matt Ryan, because that will be the focal point. You're going to get Vanoy matched up on the back. You're going to get Ninkovich matched up on the back. You're going to have to stop the downhill running game. And I think that's the way Atlanta has to attack Tom Brady and New England Patriots, because you have to
Isn't that
keep
still
him off the
Julio
field.
Jones, though? Because, look, the Patriots' run defense is special to me. I mean, they really did a good job. I know Le'Veon Bell goes down early, but he wasn't lighting the game on fire before then.
6 carries, 20 yards.
Right, but with these spread offenses nowadays, with it being a one-on-one matchup, go beat your guy, right? As well as Matt Ryan has been playing, what Julio Jones does is make it easier for Sanu and for Gabriel, and especially, I think, for you said, who was it, Tevin Freeman?
Tevin Freeman.
Right, especially when they're
He's a
catching
mutant.
passes out of the backfield. It's not just a straight run game, it's using them as receivers.
Right, but if you're Bill Belichick, you don't fear that, because you have taken away number one threats your whole career. That's what you do. That is what you have built defense on. So that doesn't scare you. What scares you is the things I can't scheme for. Because if I can scheme for Julio Jones, if I can scheme for Matt Ryan, then I have to have a one-on-one matchup with my linebacker against these backs, and I think these backs are better. That's how Denver got exposed early on in the season against Atlanta.
Let me tell you what I think you're missing. Feel free to correct me. Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman are big time. I love, they're ferocious runners. They don't dance around. They're not patient like Le'Veon Bell, but at the same time, you might be worried about going up against them because they're north-south runners. They go downhill, they come right at you. I love that about them, and I know those brothers can play. But when you have weapons like a Julio Jones and what he creates, what he makes Gabriel into, what he makes Sanu into, and what have you, and Matt Ryan throwing the football, the key word to me is patience and discipline. Do you have that if you're the Atlanta Falcons? Can you show up in the Super Bowl and give these boys the ball all day to run the football and move the chains? Chances are that's not what you're going to do, because even though you know they can ball, that's not a strength of yours. I'm thinking about Bill Belichick and the different and the discipline and the efficiency that he's instilled in these guys, and the fact that they have been here before. And I'm wondering how Atlanta can offset that. To me, the key is going to be Quinn, because Quinn has coached against them in the Super Bowl before. He's beaten big-time quarterbacks before. He has that potential.
So, real quick, when Le'Veon Bell went out, DeAngelo Williams comes in and they score a touchdown. It wasn't because DeAngelo Williams was running the football. It was him catching the ball out of the backfield. Why is that open? Because now we're using a safety and Malcolm Butler underneath on Antonio Brown. And these running backs, it's not about that they rush for a ton of yards, it's that they affect the game.
Right. When
in
you say
so many ways.
Belichick takes away your
We
top
gotta leave it.
option, if your sixth pass catching option is Devontae Freeman, you're in trouble.
You're doing all right.
We got to leave it there.